What's going on, Team PokeColors family? Welcome to today's video. If you're new, press a like, subscribe if you're new, of course. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the first ever master sets that I ever completed, as well as going over some tips and tricks on how you can get started collecting master sets in today's crazy Pokemon card market. So if this interests you, stick around, watch all the way to the end, and hopefully you learn something. So let's get right into today's video. So I'm actually gonna turn off my webcam so you guys can see the full aspect of the master set. So this is my binder. Shout out Vault X. They have literally the best binders you could ask for high dollar binders as well as budget binders. Use code TPC Vault X on Vault X's website in order to get yourself 10% off your first purchase, and as well as a discount on other later purchases. And it does help support the channel. But anyways, this is my Scarlet and Violet base set master set binder. And reason why I started, well, actually, let me start over. So in my mind, master set includes the common and reverse holo of every possible artwork in the set. So for every common card up into the secret rares and holos, I get the normal and the reverse, whether it's a holo, reverse holo, or just a common, uncommon, rare. All of the cards, basically. Excluding EXs, obviously, because ultra rare basics don't have reverse holos. But I actually didn't start with this set in particular. I started with a set from the EX era because I actually ended up getting a lot of the EXs from EX Power Keepers, actually. So I made a binder and tried to complete the set. I still need the gold stars, but I know it's going to be a long journey. But either way, this set, however, is the first master set where I actually have the common and the reverse holo in every possible slot for the entirety of the set. So I'm going over a few tips and tricks on how I did this. Obviously, tip number one, if you can afford it, opening packs with the modern Scarlet and Violet era is probably your best bet at getting a good head start. For this set in particular, I opened a booster box, and that actually gave me most, if not all, of the commons and uncommons and holo rares that I needed. And it was just a matter of gathering the reverse holos from then on. And then usually booster boxes give you a decent chunk of ultra rares and EXs as well. But all in all, I figured out that you can get different reverse holos and different products. So I found better success with, 3-pack blisters and single packs for certain holos and reverse holos than I did with booster boxes and ETBs. So I would recommend, if you can afford it and you're wanting to do this, open one booster box, one of each of the ETBs if there's two, or just one would be fine for the promos. And then personally going into the 3-pack blisters for the promos, because I mean, if you're a full-blown master set collector, you want to get every promo that comes out with that wave of products. Me, I don't really care so much about the promos, more so than the actual set, so I don't really try to do that, especially if it's not really cost effective. But one thing that I learned a lot from the main Scarlet and Violet era is that a lot of these like EXs, and we'll get to them later, like the full arts, the illustration rares, their prices fluctuate so much that unless you pull it, you might as well just wait until they kind of flatline in price. Because when we get to the end here, I'll kind of go over the prices of some of the cards that were, what they were priced at when I got them, what they go for now. And it's a fun journey. But with the Scarlet and Violet era, if you're going for master sets and you're opening products to achieve that master set, I would almost suggest waiting like a year, maybe 6 months at least for sure, before buying singles. Unless it's some of those weird cases where what we're seeing now with like Magikarp and Raichu illustration rares, like you could have market manipulation happening, buyouts could happen. So, once you get to a certain point with a certain card that you're trying to get, it's best to set goals for yourself. So say, for example, like, Bennett is $100, let's say, for example. If it ever hits you know, $60 in market value, I'm going to buy it for my master set. And then that way, once it does hit that, because it most likely will, most of these cards, if they're chase cards, maybe not so much, but even we're seeing this with Sword and Shield alternate arts, that they're hitting prices that are just so low because they're not being gassed up as much on the market, and as you know, as in much demand. Specifically speaking to Unknown V alternate art, that was like $50, then it dropped to 30. Now it's 15 from Silver Tempest, so you could literally get like 4 of those for $60, the price of an ETB nowadays, which is crazy. And you're not even guaranteed one of those in a booster box. So Scarlet and Violet pull rates obviously are going to be a little bit different, but one thing that I've learned is to just chill. You know, it's going to be a grind. Like, I'm still not even close. Like, I have like 12 cards, I believe, before I have the Paldea Evolve set complete, and that is pretty much going to be 4 sets from this newest set coming out ago. So it's been out for a while, and we're just now seeing a lot of the prices of the illustration rares go up in value, like the Magikarp and the Raichu, the Sleepy Raichu. So there is that like kind of sweet spot that you try to find with certain sets. This one doesn't really have it because it's the base set, and I figured as much, given that, you know, base sets typically don't go for a lot of money, collectively speaking, as time goes on. Like, if you look at Black and White base set, XY base set, even Sun and Moon base set, like the completed sets aren't as expensive as, say, like Cosmic Eclipse or Legendary Treasures, you know, some of the high dollar chaser sets that we're used to. So if you're trying to complete a set, base sets are really a good start. Me personally, since I'm opening product with the release of new sets, I'm just gonna make a binder, a master set binder for all of the Sword and Shield, or sorry, all of the Scarlet and Violet sets, because they give you 2 reverses in a pack. So that was another reason that if you're going to collect master sets, it would be a great time to start if you've always wanted to, because literally you open one pack and you get not only all the cards for your you know, your bang for your buck, but you also get 2 reverse holos, and those reverse holos, some of them can be pretty pricey and hard to find and hard to pull, especially if you go back to any, you know, previous era where you only get 1 reverse, then you kind of have to double your efforts. But they kind of help you basically get to a master set if you want, if you open enough packs, because they give you 2 reverses in a pack. But you know, it's just been one of my goals of mine where it's like, EXs are back, and I have some nostalgia with the you know, the old school EXs. I have some of my own collection, and I just love the artwork of, you know, the EX illustration rares that have come out. So I figured I might as well start collecting the master set, because I was doing completed set binders for some of the later Sword and Shield sets, which I actually gave up on because alternate arts were super expensive, and, you know, it was just not my thing. I was just getting tired of it. It was getting too hard financially to keep up. And that's another thing I want to point out too, is that by waiting, you also save yourself money long term, because you're not having to go and buy all of these expensive illustration rares right at release, or even like a 3-month time frame but post release, because even then, if they're, you know, playable to an extent, then it can be difficult to get your hands on them for a fair price. Specifically with this set being the Miriam special illustration rare that was super hyped up, and part of that might be just because we're coming off of the Sword and Shield hype era, I guess, of alternate arts, and I feel like a lot of that carried over into this set from Scarlet Violet base set. But then once people realize, like, hey, these illustration rares, yeah, they're cool, but they are really, really easier. Like, they're a lot easier to pull than an alternate art from Sword and Shield era. Then people started to, you know, focus on specific cards. And if you look at these cards from just a holistic view, they are super well done. Like, you have so many different art styles, different, just different art styles, different Pokemon. Unexpectedly different Pokemon, surprisingly, for some of them. But another thing to point out too is with these illustration rares is that the quality and the print quality can be kind of rough. So a card like this in a PSA 10 has a population of less than like 100, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, looking at this card, honestly, it's pretty good shape. Honestly, might consider grading that. And I do like a lot of the certain artworks and, you know, whatever, but with all of these, you know, I'm like, I don't know. I would like to grade some of these at some point, but there's just not a lot in this main base set that I really care so much about. Maybe the Riolu, because that was like the first one I pulled, but it's not centered well, so I'm not going to worry about it. But anywho, full arts nowadays are surprisingly cheap, unless they're like super playable. So completing master sets today I feel like is a lot easier than it was back in, you know, the Sword and Shield and even Sun and Moon era. Black and White era actually completed sets, master sets were fairly easy because they had maybe about 5 to 9 like ultra rares, and then the same amount of like full arts. These sets have like 40 something with the illustration rares, the full arts, the rainbows, or not rainbows, sorry, the terrestrial forms, and then the gold cards, and then the special illustration rares. Like there's a lot more to worry about now with these sets, which is fine. I think it makes it that more rewarding when you're able to fill out slots in your binder. But back in the day, you could open a booster box of a black and white set and pull a secret rare. That basically took care of, you know, took care of half or even a third of the secret rares you needed. And then, you know, you got full art pulls too that would come in from pulling from a booster box. But now booster boxes, you know, give you maybe 2 to 3 to 4 of these, a couple of these maybe, and maybe a gold card or two, and a bunch of other commons and holos and basic EXs. So I don't know, you could do what you want, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about when trying to go for master sets, especially if they're you know, just stacked with pulls. Paradox Rift has a ton of illustration rares that are actually on the more desirable side, but they've gone down a lot in price, and I sold most of mine off because I was trying to, you know, allocate funds elsewhere for other endeavors. But looking back at it, I probably made a good decision because a lot of the cards that I sold off then have tanked in price, so now I can buy the same cards back. So I'm gonna try to restart that binder. But you know, illustration rares like this guy was a $50 card, or no, this was dude, I remember I pulled this like pre-release week. That guy was going for, I'm trying to remember how much it was. I think it was like $80, $50, something like that. Now it's like $2, I think. I don't know. I'll throw the price on screen. But most notably, this one being the chase of the set. It was $100 when it came out. Now it's at like $20-$30, which is a lot better of a deal. So I probably could have waited to get a Miriam, but I did it through trade, so not a big deal. But that's just the thing that happens with Pokemon cards, is that they go through spikes and dips when it comes to collecting. And then I have one of each of the energy back here. Don't mind my shakiness. My gosh, I'm using my hand. I don't have support here, but that's pretty much my Scarlet Violet base set binder. I'm still obviously missing some promos and what happened here, this extra promos without the stamp on the Pokemon Center. No Pokemon Center stamp on these 3, but you know, that's pretty much it for this video. Kind of just wanted to talk about master sets and that sort of thing. And yeah, I have other completed sets that aren't from this era that I'd like to go over eventually too, so I'll turn this into a TeamPokeColors completed set, master set series or something like that. But hopefully you all enjoyed. I know I had a lot of fun going through these pages, looking at these cards from literally over a year ago now at this point, but you know, just revisiting some of the cool cards that are still out there for really decent prices has been rewarding, in a sense that I can say I have everyone from the Scarlet Violet base set in a binder. So more to come on that. Just wanted to make a quick little video here, kind of highlighting, you know, some completed sets that I've been working on over the past year and past couple years for some of the older sets that I have complete, quote unquote, minus some gold stars, because, you know, yeah, anywho. So if you want to see my other sets, be sure to continue watching, as this video will link you to the next video in the series. If it hasn't been released yet, then stick around, hit the subscribe, it'll be coming soon. Anyways, hopefully you have a great day. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.